Hello, everyone. This is This Week in Pro Football, Episode 2, Part 3, Week 9 of the 2017 NFL season. And Harry here, your host, talking about tonight's Monday Night Football game, the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers. Right now, both teams have issues. Maybe Detroit less than the actual Packers have. Obviously, the Packers have a big issue of no Aaron Rodgers and some other injuries that are hurting them, and some other players on the team with the Green Bay Packers that have not played up to their high draft pick status. That's hurting the Packers tremendously. One player that is playing up to his draft pick status, although he was drafted in the 7th round this year, 2017, is running back Aaron Jones from UTEP. He is playing outstandingly, and I have him on one of my fantasy teams, and he seems like a star in the making. How he's going to officially do with Aaron Rodgers down the line if he gets that chance. Remember, depending on what happens, we're weeks, even months out, but we know really what the draft, anyone's draft situation is going to be, except maybe San Francisco and Cleveland. We can guess there'll be one or two in some sort of order unless things change drastically. We don't know if the Packers are going to be able to make the playoffs, get at least 8-8, or be a 4-12 to 6-10 team, which would drop them in the top, let's say, 8 of the draft, especially if they were 4-12. And I say that because they could very well get a running back, just like Love out of Stanford, or Saquon Barkley from Penn State, if Barkley comes out, quote unquote. And I think he's probably leaning to go that direction. But again, Aaron Jones is a great pickup. I have him. I'm glad I have him. I also picked up the quarterback, Brett Hundley. Brett Hundley was a UCLA quarterback, and I followed for a long time. Enjoyed watching him play. He's had kind of a mini bye. He's had a bye, from the last time they played. It's been a week, so let's see what exactly happens. I think that what will end up happening is that he's going to have a good showing of himself tonight. We saw that Pittsburgh last week, Sunday Night Football, against Detroit, against the Lions. Pittsburgh left a lot of points on the board. They really did. They won the game, I think, 20-13, but they had a chance to blow the Lions right out of their own building. Le'Veon Bell, I think, fumbled a couple of times, and Roethlisberger threw an interception, and this was deep in Detroit's end. So we don't know how that score could have really ended up if Pittsburgh would have held on to the ball and got at least 2 more touchdowns and a field goal, hypothetically. Green Bay's defense is okay. They're long in the tooth. I think their defensive coordinator is long in the tooth. They have, hopefully for them, a way to redeem themselves tonight against a little banged up and unsure of itself Detroit team. But I have a feeling, I hate to say it, that Matt Stafford is going to probably find a way to get a few touchdowns, to say the least. And the Lions have got to look better than they did in the red zone last week. That was awful, god-awful. They were down first and goal and couldn't get the ball in the end zone. That cannot happen if they're going to be a playoff team. And they have to win games that they should win, and that has to start tonight, even in Green Bay's building. I think that I saw something that they're 1-28 or 1-25, something like that, since 1992 in Green Bay or in Milwaukee. But regardless of that, they have got to find a way to come through. Technically, on paper, they are the better ball team. Now, they had to have injuries. Matt Stafford is limping around. That line has got to block a lot better for him. They don't dare lose Matt Stafford. If they lost him any significant time, their season is probably over. There's just no way on earth. I think it's Jeff Driscoll, I believe, is their backup quarterback. And originally, he quarterbacked University of Florida, and then I want to say he went to Louisiana Tech. And he has all the measurements to be a good quarterback, but he has no experience in the NFL. And I don't think he's Matt Stafford, that's for sure. Look for the Lions to stay in there, the teams to be tied going into the fourth quarter. but I hate to say it for Lions fans, I've got a feeling the Packers are going to pull away by at least a touchdown and a field goal or 2 touchdowns at the end of the game. It's just, I don't get what's going on with Detroit. They have every opportunity to win these. You've got to win games at home. You've got to. As a Viking fan, we've lost once coincidentally to Detroit at home, and that is not good. We've put ourselves in a position that we have got to beat the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day in their own building, and that is going to be tough. We have to take it one game at a time, and that's really what Detroit's going to have to do. But we will see tonight. We will see. Again, I would start Aaron Jones. Brett Hundley, if I had no other choice, I would start him. But, of course, most people have probably already started another quarterback. Start Matt Stafford if you get a chance, because I don't trust the Packers' defense. Maybe the score is 35-28 or something in favor of the Packers. It could very well be 35-28 in favor of Detroit. But Detroit cannot have the red zone letdowns it had last week. Just can't. And their defense has got to tighten up. Got to tighten up. So right now, I'm kind of short today because it's just one game to go over. Right now, though, I want to go into my memorabilia segment, something I picked up just recently. And looking here, we have a card, a 1968 Topps trading card of Cleveland Browns quarterback Frank Ryan, Dr. Frank Ryan. If any of you ever played a game when you were a child called NFL Quarterback, and really I'm talking about child of the late 60s, 70s, or early 80s, NFL Quarterback, or also known as NFL Strategy or NFL Strategy Junior. He was the man who actually came up with the game. The people at Tudor Games worked with Dr. Ryan, Dr. Frank Ryan. He's an actual mathematician. He's a doctor. He was at Rice University and Yale University for a long time. He's super intelligent. And I show this card because he was the last quarterback in 1964 to lead the Cleveland Browns to an NFL championship victory. 27-0, if I believe correctly, over the then Baltimore Colts, who the Colts were heavily favored in that game. It's a huge upset. The Colts got their revenge 4 years later in 1968 when they played Cleveland again. Both games, by the way, were in Cleveland, and beat the Browns 34-0 on their way to Super Bowl III, and infamy and losing to being the first NFL team to lose to an AFL team, the New York Jets, 16-7, where Joe Namath famously guaranteed his victory, or the Jets' victory. So again, Dr. Frank Ryan, fantastic quarterback, started out with the Rams, matter of fact, and when the Rams got Roman Gabriel, they were able to trade him, not sure exactly for what, one day I'll look up and find out and let you guys know, to the Browns, and he was just a fantastic quarterback for them, and again, the last quarterback so far to have led the Browns to the NFL championship game. All right, guys, thank you very much, and happy fantasy, and see you Wednesday afternoon. Bye.